We are live. Wow, we got one unbelievable day of football ahead as the Titans face the Chargers in Los Angeles. A lot of things going on, but welcome into the Buddy Allen Carpet One pregame show. We're going to have a lot of fun as trying to do a lot of different things. You had the epic World Cup final this morning. I don't know if you watched any of that, Sam. Now we've got an epic finish to this Jacksonville Jaguars Dallas Cowboys game that we're monitoring that is impactful to the Tennessee Titans as they take on the Los Angeles Chargers today at 3:25. This is your Buddy Allen Carpet One pregame show. Got to thank all of our sponsors for Titan Game Day Live, including Buddy Allen Carpet One, giving you free in-home measures and estimates at BuddyAllenCarpet1Nashville.com. Mr. Goodroof, we love Mr. Goodroof. We'll talk about who has the goods a little bit later in this pregame show. BetMGM, we'll do some predictions right before the Chargers take on the Titans in LA. And BARTON Insurance, the title sponsor of our postgame show, Middle Tennessee's premier insurance provider for both personal home auto coverage and small to mid-sized businesses. That's Barton Insurance Group, LLC.com. And Crumble Cookies. We'll see if the Jacksonville Jaguars will crumble under the pressure. Trevor Lawrence he crumbled a football away to give them less of an opportunity. Now, no timeouts in 35 seconds. That's impactful to the Titans as they're trying to solidify their playoff spot. So Crumble Cookies, a great sponsor for our post-game show. But this is officially the Buddy Allen Carpet One pregame show. Sam, welcome in. High drama on this Sunday afternoon as we get prepped up for a big game for these Titans taking on the Chargers.
Yeah, everywhere we look, we got a big game going on here. And as you mentioned, that Jaguars game has big implications for the Titans. If the Jaguars were to somehow pull this off here in the last minute and get an upset over the Dallas Cowboys, this game against the Chargers in many ways becomes a must win for the Titans if they want to stay ahead in the AFC South, or at least sets up a scenario where you could find the Jacksonville Jaguars playing for the division against the Titans in Week 18. We really said Jacksonville had to win one of two against either Dallas or the Jets. And right now they are looking pretty good. But yeah, crazy morning. I did try and watch some of the World Cup final. I've been trying to get a little bit more into soccer recently. It's been a gradual process, but that was a fun game. It made it easy to watch. And a big Titans game here starting in like 20 minutes or so, Zach, about 25 minutes.
Yeah, so we'll do some double duty as we'll keep you up to date with Jags Cowboys. 34-31, the Dallas Cowboys lead the Jags with 27 seconds left to play. The Jags trying to go down there and possibly force overtime as you see Lawrence scramble and get out of bounds. And then Jonathan brings in the Texans have been playing good the last 2 weeks. And Jonathan's right, as they've played well. They've lost to the Cowboys last week, and they've tied up with the Chiefs, it looks like. So this is the NFL. It's always going to go back and forth. But let's talk about these Titans facing the Chargers and the surging Chargers at that. You got two teams with identical records coming into this game. As the Titans, you sit there and, they're doing everything that they possibly can to try to get that playoff spot. And you've got Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, a lot of pressure on the offense, a lot of pressure on the defense, especially the passing defense, going up against the Chargers, who have become healthier over the last couple of weeks. They got off to a slow start at the beginning of the season, but have kind of caught their stride. Both teams have 7 wins. Both teams need more wins. But Sam, kind of take us through this injury report. The Titans are going to be without some key guys, as you kind of usually get to that point at this point in the season. But take us through the injury report and who we will and will not see in the two-tone blue for the Tennessee Titans.
Well, unfortunately for the Chargers, it's a pretty quick report here. Derwin James, really the only player notable, I guess, that's out this week. They listed him as doubtful coming into today. He's officially out, and Joey Bosa still on injured reserve. But the Titans have a laundry list, Zach. We've got Traylon Burks out, Danico Autry out, Christian Fulton out, Trey Avery, Amani Hooker, and the surprising one that dropped just like an hour or so ago, Teair Tart is going to be out for the Tennessee Titans. He was not on the injury report the entire week. He practiced all week, maybe an illness or something going on, but no Teair Tart with no Danico Autry. And then Dontrell Hilliard, CJ Board were both put on injured reserve. And the only person you're really getting back is Hassan Haskins and Lonnie Johnson Jr. So a long list of like 6, 7, 8 Titans that are going to be out in this game, and a lot of impactful players. These injuries keep stacking up. There's no break for the Titans, really.
No, there's not. And they're going to have to find a way to get after Justin Herbert. Their run defense is notoriously good. The Titans have not had a problem stopping the run, but they have had a problem in stopping the passes. Back-to-back weeks, they've faced quarterbacks who have been offensive players of the week, and Jalen Hurts a couple of weeks ago and Trevor Lawrence last week throwing for a ton of yards. Lawrence over 350 yards, and we saw Evan Ingram absolutely destroy this defense. They're going to have to get after Justin Herbert so he doesn't put up the yards that he usually does. The Chargers average 285 passing yards per game. Now, they only average 84 rushing yards, so they do not run the football effectively, and they give up more points. So the Titans may have that opportunity to get after and get maybe a lead or some more scores that they don't traditionally do under their offense. But this is a big game and a big swing game with just a few games remaining there, Sam. I don't want to say this is a must win, but as Jacksonville's trying to backdoor and extend this game, there is more pressure on the Tennessee Titans than I think they ever thought a couple of weeks ago when they were truly in the driver's seat.
Yeah, and this is the spot that they've put themselves in with their play recently. You've had a couple opportunities. I mean, no one bigger than last week playing Jacksonville with an opportunity to really put the division on ice. And you keep continuing to leave the door open. And as you're starting to see, this Jaguars team is getting better, and Trevor Lawrence is getting better. And they're continuing to find a little bit more of their chemistry, specifically on offense, where they are a very, very dangerous team. I would be just as scared of them in week 18 as you should have been last week with the way that they played. And there's no real easy games here coming up for the Titans. Even this Texans game, the Texans are currently going to overtime with the Kansas City Chiefs, Zach. The Houston Texans are going to overtime with the Kansas City Chiefs. So when you look ahead, you cannot even just give that an auto win to the Titans. They have to really find a way to change some of it. And we're going to get into some of the keys to the game, but I really like what you said about the opposing quarterbacks and what they've been able to do to this Titans defense in the recent weeks, and obviously facing another exceptional talent in Justin Herbert this week.
Yeah, a little update as you guys are watching along with us. The Jags are in field goal range as Trevor Lawrence throws for a first down to Zay Jones, who's having an unbelievable game today. They get in field goal range, and they're trying to force overtime with the Dallas Cowboys. So we're constantly monitoring that. But let's get to the Titans-Chargers game. What's the single most important thing that the Titans are going to have to do against the Chargers? That's what we're asking you guys. Obviously win the football game, but we're getting into the specifics. What is the single most important thing for the Titans going into this game against the Chargers? We're going to put that in the chat. And Sam, I'm going to have you talk about the great title sponsor of our Buddy Allen Carpet One pregame show, and that's Buddy Allen Carpet One.
Yeah, Buddy Allen Carpet One. They are locally owned and operated by the Allen family. They have been for over 55 years. Zach, Jenna, Judson Allen, they're in the store every day. They offer free in-home measures and estimates with Buddy Allen Carpet One. They are a full-service flooring company, but full service does not mean more money when it comes to Buddy Allen Carpet One. You can get experienced floor work done by Buddy Allen's professional certified installers and save money. That's the best of both worlds right there. Save money and get qualified workers who guarantee their work only at BuddyAllenCarpet1.com. They are not like your other big box companies. That is BuddyAllenCarpet1.com.
And the Jacksonville Jaguars make the 48-yard field goal and tie the football game with no time remaining in regulation. 34 all.
Whoa.
Jags Cowboys going to overtime. So the Titans, as they warm up and they stretch out, I'm sure they're looking around saying, oh no, you got the Texans, two divisional opponents, one that they're going to play next week playing good football against the Chiefs, one that they just got beat last week playing good football against the Cowboys. So that is one to monitor. We'll watch that with you guys as we get you set up until kickoff at 3:25 on this Buddy Allen Carpet One Titan pregame show. Let's ask this question, get everybody involved. And that is, and I saw a really good answer to kind of start. What's the single most important thing the Titans are going to have to do against the Chargers? And John starts this off pretty good. Just stay focused, right? I feel like we've seen the Titans get beside themselves and not stay focused and get, behind by multiple scores. And that's not how they're built to win. Pass the ball from David, defend the pass from Guy, no turnovers. They had 4 of them last week coming in from Kendrick. Not have Dennis Daly on the field from Ryan Fields. Create turnovers from Antoine, no turnovers from Dat Boy Tree. Control the clock from Jacob. Keep Herbert off the field. Score no turnovers from Daniel. Win the turnover battle, Mitch. Don't give up big X plays from the Chargers. You've seen that this season hurt the Titans defense by those big plays. And then, a couple of blinks, you blink twice and you're down 7. Then maybe you're down 10 or down 14. It's tough to come from behind. Leaving there with a win from Jesse. So it's just simple.
Win the game. Right.
Important. That is important. But we've had some good, more in-depth talking about turnovers. Sam, what do you think is the most important thing that the Titans have to do against the Chargers to get a win and fly back from the West Coast with a W?
Yeah, I like some of the ones that were said. That stay focused is interesting. Zach, I've talked to Titans offensive line coach Keith Carter a couple times over the last few weeks where he has just told us all of the struggles that the Titans have had on their offensive line with their penalties comes down to what he thinks is just a lack of focus and needing to dial it in. And he's been really frustrated with his group and their inability to do so. But I like what you said earlier, because that's my biggest key on what the Titans have to do is affect the quarterback. You have to get after Justin Herbert, force him to be a little bit more uncomfortable and make plays beyond the run, speed him up, and just not let him stand back in the pocket and deliver some throws, because we know the arm talent that he has. You've got Joshua Palmer, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Gerald Everett, Austin Eckler, weapons on weapons on weapons for him and for this Chargers offense. So if you're going to have a chance defensively, I want to see Justin Herbert be more uncomfortable. The Titans have 3 sacks in 13 quarters of football since Danico Autry got hurt on Thursday night in Green Bay. They just have not been the same defense without him on the field, and they have to find a way to fix that if they want to change things. I did the math too, Zach. I'll give you something else. In the 3 games without Danico Autry, so that's Cincinnati, that's Philadelphia, that's Jacksonville, opposing quarterbacks, 68.6% completions, 1,018 yards, 7 touchdowns, no interceptions, 51 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. And you mentioned back-to-back offensive player of the weeks for whoever the quarterback is that's facing the Titans. You have to make them uncomfortable and affect them in the pocket. That's the key to the game today for me.
Look, that's very good points, right? And what you said is they are, and especially last week, they have turnovers, but they're not forcing turnovers. They're not forcing their opponent to make mistakes. And that is always going to be more difficult to win football games when you're unable to do this. So I got a two-part answer for me. And one of the parts is actually from a comment in our chat. The first part, I think I'm going to take a different approach this week. I think that the Titans have to be unpredictable today. This is not about Derrick Henry running the football down the throat of a bad rush defense. That, I believe, will come regardless. The Titans need to kind of do something different that the Chargers don't expect. Throw the football. I think that the Titans, if they're going to win this game, it's got to be through the air to some degree. They're going to have to get Chig, and Robert Woods is going to have to step up. Austin Hooper has to be a guy who's reliable to move the chains. NWI needs to be a deep threat like he was on that one play against the Commanders earlier in the year, and we've seen a couple of times. But to do that, here's where I go to the chat. You have to protect Ryan Tannehill. If you can't protect Ryan Tannehill, which they've struggled with over the last couple of weeks, you can't be unpredictable. You will be predictable. And what we've seen defenses do, they just stack the box and stop Derrick Henry, right? And if you get behind your best weapon and your number one recipe for wins, doesn't matter anymore, right? So I think being unpredictable, I expect Ryan Tannehill to have over 250 yards passing today. I think he's going to throw the football, but you got to protect him. You have to protect Ryan Tannehill. So I think that's a massive key in this game for the Titans. Look, I don't know what the Jags are going to do. You know, this overtime just started, but if Jacksonville beats Dallas, that puts even more pressure on this Titans team because the Texans are playing good football. They're going to face this Cowboys, the team, you know, in a couple of weeks that just scored 34 points. The Titans don't score more than 30 points. They've never scored 30 points all year. So, and then you've got Jacksonville again, who's obviously playing good football at the time. But the Titans need to come out and put things together. Mike, this is why we titled the pregame show, the Buddy Allen Carpet One pregame show, Get Back Right game. This is a get back right game. You got to get back right.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting point because, and we'll get into like the matchups and everything, but everything kind of tells you this is a running game for the Titans. And when you know how explosive this Chargers offense is, it tells you, a couple of the comments said it, control the clock, find a way to run the ball with success, control the clock, and hope you don't make big turnovers that lose you the game like you did against Jacksonville. So that's an interesting take from you, Zach. I'm interested in seeing how that kind of plays out. Do the Titans have what it takes? You mentioned pass protection. Do we see Dylan Radins at left tackle for a good chunk of today's game? He was working in there a lot this week. So what does it look like with the pass protection? And do they have what it takes to throw with success without Treylon Burks and still no Kyle Phillips and the banged up pass protection? They might need it, but that'll be interesting if they go that way.
Yeah, and you know, as things come down to it, it looks or appears that the Cowboys are going to force a punt by the Jags. So the Cowboys will get the ball back. That's
not guaranteed because the Chiefs just beat the Texans after punting, and the Texans muffed the punt. And then Jerick McKinnon put in a touchdown run immediately following. So you never know if the punt is going to end up.
And they really needed the Texans to lose because I don't think you don't want the Texans to draft Bryce Young, which I think that would
have been something, right? If the Texans had played their way out of the first pick.
Right. So all of these moving pieces, as we talk about what the Titans need to do, I wonder how the state of this football team is, though. West Coast trip after dropping 3 straight games, 2 games to good opponents in Cincinnati and Philadelphia, and then last week to Jacksonville. They're going to have to prove that they can come here and compete with the surging Chargers team that is a lot better than they played early in the year. And really, I think of what their record is. The Chargers are scrapping and clawing to get into the playoffs, right? I mean, the Titans are too, to a degree, but they've got an easier road. All right, so let's transition, and this brings us to our segment that we love every pregame show, and that is Mr. Goodroof, who's got the goods? So that's the question we're going to ask you guys. Sam, you've got one in the hopper of a good matchup for the Titans today. I'm curious to see who you say, but who has the good matchup today for the Tennessee Titans? But I will tell the fine folks about Mr. Goodroof. Mr. Goodroof, man, are they unbelievable when it comes to helping the community right here in Middle Tennessee. Mr. Goodroof specializes in roofing, gutters, windows, and more. Fully insured, licensed, and bonded. They are hooking you up. 615-824-8100 is their phone number. MrGoodroof.com. They can be trusted all throughout Middle Tennessee. They've been a great sponsor here on the show. And Mr. Goodroof, if you look at what all they do in the community, beware of the door knockers that just try to come up and, hey, we need to fix your roof. We'll fix your roof. If you think you have storm damage, you can call Mr. Goodroof. They are trusted in this area, and they will make sure that you are taken care of with all of your roofing needs. They also do windows, gutters, and more services. That's Mr. Goodroof right there in Middle Tennessee. They've got you covered. All right, Sam, who's got the goods?
I hate to be repetitive. I hate to be obvious, but when I look at this Chargers team, I look at a big day coming for the king, Derrick Henry. I do. I like what's that face for? What's that?
The face is the Jags just picked it. They just won. The Jags win. Dak Prescott. Oh my gosh. I can't believe this. 40-34 final in OT. I see this as you're talking and I'm trying to listen, but I'm trying to pay attention. And I can't pay attention because the Jags now have then pressurized the Titans heading into this. Who's got the goods? Well, it's not Dak Prescott because a deflection and an interception taken to the house, the Jags win. Oh my.
Now you're looking at the 6-8 Jacksonville Jaguars, who will be playing. They have a game with the Jets, the Texans, and then these Titans to end the year. If the Titans lose today to the Chargers, you would have them with just a 1-game lead in the AFC South, and a date with the Texans. Then those Dallas Cowboys, then the Jags. Yeah,
this is wild.
The pressure just went through the roof for this one. Wow.
All right, so Jags win, Texans lose, Titans playing the Chargers. Now let's reset. Now you have my full attention, Sam. Who has the goods today?
Derrick Henry, the king. And I hate to be repetitive or obvious, like I said, but I look at this run defense, and it's hard not to think that the Titans are going back to the bread and butter that we've all seen and are probably all tired of, but that maybe they can do it with some success this week. They finally got back to successful running game last week against the Jags, and a couple fumbles, couple turnovers really hurt them. But it was nice to see the run game break out a couple big plays. This Chargers run defense, Zach, gives up 5.4 rush yards per play. That is the worst in the NFL. They give up 147 rush yards per game. That is 28th in the NFL. They've given up 3 consecutive weeks of 107 yards to Isaiah Pacheco, 120 to James Conner, where they gave up 144 to Josh Jacobs. Teams can run the football with a lot of success against the Chargers, and if the Titans are looking for a way to do those things we mentioned earlier, control the clock, establish the run, have time of possession, not turn the ball over, do things to control the game and win and keep Justin Herbert off the field, it's going to be Derrick Henry having a big day today. I think this is a good matchup for him.
Yeah, no, I think very valid points there. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of Chig on there. I think that Todd Downing and this offense has got to get Chig involved. 85, you need plays drawn up for Chig Okonkwo. You have to get him the ball in space. He is a big play waiting to happen. He's proven that in his rookie year. But I do think that if you're not going to have some of your main guys, your main guy, I think, is becoming Chig, which is wild to say. I don't think that we would have thought that at the beginning of the year. But Derrick Henry combined with Chig, that's who's got the goods today, brought to you by Mr. Goodroof. Man, so big game today for the Tennessee Titans. Mike Vrabel and company, 3-game skid. They're trying to get back Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler and this potent offense that does score points. Defensively, let's shift it over to defense real quick before we get to predictions. Sam, what do you like and maybe what concerns you about this Titans defense that has unfortunately evolved with injuries and maybe lack thereof? They're going to be out with some key guys, as we talked about at the beginning of this Buddy Alley Carpet One pregame show. Defensively, how do you feel about this game for the Titans?
I think it's going to be rough. I really do. Like, I don't feel good about this Titans defense just with how banged up they are. Like, we know, one, I don't think they've faced a wide receiving core this deep. Like, there are 3 legitimate, like, could be number ones in this wide receiving room with Keenan Allen, Joshua Palmer, and Mike Williams. They're all tremendous. They haven't faced a running back that really has the amount of the ability to catch passes and be an effective pass catcher receiver like Austin Eckler. It's a gross matchup. It's a tough one. And when you look at this list of names that are out, Avery, Fulton, Hooker, like those are guys in your secondary that you need to like hang with some of these guys. I don't know what they do. That's why I look offensively at Derrick Henry. And if they have a chance to win this game, I think it has to be just from controlling the clock so much that you're able to limit what the Chargers can do offensively.
Yeah. No, and look, we're about to get into predictions brought to you by BetMGM. The Titans are +3. Traditionally, if you're the home team, you get 3 points as a courtesy. So you take those away, it's a pick 'em. The Vegas thinks this is going to be a close game. Vegas thinks this is going to come down to that one possession, maybe 2 minutes that we've seen all over today in the morning of really close games. And, the Titans with +3, let's get to those predictions. It's prediction time. Who wins Titans +3 against the Chargers? This is brought to you by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app right there on your screen. You see the promo code ATOZ Sports. They're hooking you up with a risk-free bet up to $1,000 on Pro Football. On Pro Football, there's still time to get in your bet right now and sign up with BetMGM. The pregame predictions brought to you by that app. Go to your Apple or Android app store. Download the app today. Pregame predictions times brought to you by BetMGM. Sam, and we'll ask the chat, what do you think's going to happen? And then if you want to read some chat comments, and then I'll get to me.
Yeah, so we'll go chat real quick. John says 32-17. I don't know who he's picking to win there in that 32-17. Lamitri says 24-21. Jacob says 20-16 Titans. Jay is 45-17 Chargers. Vasco Curry says 21-24. The Titans win. We got 38-35 Titans. 21-20 Titans. Titans 20, Chargers 17. Rick has the Chargers winning 33-12. Dylan says 31-17 Chargers. There's a lot of them coming in now. Zach, I am going to go 27-17 Los Angeles Chargers with the win. I just think the Titans really have to play a perfect game offensively in order to prevent Justin Herbert and this Chargers offense from being on the field and controlling the game and hitting a few of the big plays. I think the Titans might be able to do something with Derrick Henry on the ground, but overall, this is going to be a long day for the Titans defense trying to match up with these Chargers receivers.
I think it's a high-scoring game. I think the Titans score 30 points for the first time all year.
Wow.
I think it is a tight game. I think the Titans bounce back under Mike Vrabel, 31-30. This is a 1-point game, barely coming down to the wire, maybe a field goal. They're about to kick off. We'll be back at halftime. Thank you to all of our sponsors, including Buddy Alley Carpet One, Mr. Goodroof, BetMGM, Barton Insurance Group, and Crumble Cookies. We will see you at halftime.